things are coming together little by little every week. I learn a little bit more about OBS and the things it can do, and I'm trying to use it properly and more effectively than I used to use it. And eventually I will get all kinds of little things working and tweaking. I just don't want to have to add a whole bunch of add-ons to it to make it do the things I want to do. Because the more add-ons I add, the more things break.
More add-ons you add, the more things break?
Yeah.
Huh, that's frustrating.
Well, it's the way it's always been.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always found that adding add-ons doesn't cause too many issues, but I guess I'm not using OBS, so.
Maybe I've just had bad luck with it.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, well, you know.
Because if you've just had bad luck, that means I'll never have to face this issue, right?
Yeah, supposedly.
That's how it works?
Yeah. Sure. We'll run with that. Why not? That's as good a explanation as any for
That's what I'm going with.
Miscellaneous things. I try to bring my brain in order for all the things that do need to get done, you know. Well, welcome, people. All 4 of you. This is the minor pre-stream because we didn't get to it early enough today to have a real pre-stream to randomly talk about the war on chickens or any of the other wonderful things out there.
Actually, there is some entertainment on the chicken front. So the chicken, we had to get rid of him. He lives in a new home. He's awesome. He's happy.
You know what I forgot to do? You didn't hear the sounds. Haha.
Oh, what sounds?
The sound I was just playing. Because I'm playing around here, and that was the war on chicken sound that I have.
You're a war on chicken?
The war on chicken.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Stole it from the No Agenda show about 8 years ago when the war on chickens began.
Well, our chickens, we have one semi-smart chicken who has somewhat of an imagination. That would be Frizzy, the frizzled chicken with the feathers that curl outwards. She always looks like she's got bedhead. I think she's my favorite chicken right up there next to Stripe. But she is the only one that's figured out that they can get up onto the compost and scratch around the compost and get bugs. But because she figured it out, all the others have started following her. So she got frustrated and went onto the compost and then left. So now she is the leader, leading them all over the freaking place because she wants to find a place where she can scratch, eat, do all of her things alone, but the rest of them all follow her because she has ideas.
Yes, she finds food.
She does.
And
She's like trying to get away from all the others, and all of them are following her.
Well, you know.
I feel kind of bad for her, but also it's just so entertaining to watch.
Yeah. All right, welcome to the show, Hemdian. Nice to see you.
Always good to see you, Hemdian. Oh, and our youngest cat has realized that actually attacking the chickens is not a good idea.
Did chickens take them on and win?
I'm not sure what happened, but the kitten came peeling away from the birds. I don't know what happened. There was no damage on the cat, and the bird just looked ruffled, not just kind of irritated and upset. I don't really know what happened, but the kitten hasn't gone anywhere near them again.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
So, yeah.
That's a good thing. All right, it's time for some music to lead us up to showtime. We're about ready to go.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun. that said you have to be half dead to survive. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
There we have it. It must be time.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 647, and we have plugins for email and IP guardians with dev flags and Dino games, and some WordPress news, all coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress, the king of content management systems, powering the web with over 80,000 plugins to choose from. How do you sort the junk from the gems? Welcome to WP Plugins A-Z, where we've been keeping the pulse of WordPress alive for over 16 incredible years. Join us every week for an unrehearsed, real talk breakdowns of the latest and greatest plugins, developer and community member interviews. Some weeks, Amber and I team up to dig in. Others, I'm flying solo, unpacking WordPress news, demoing a standout plugin, or sharing tips to power up your site. No scripts, no fluff, just the good stuff from A to Z. So plug in and let's get rolling. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlooking beautiful southern Vancouver Island. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Amber overall.
and we have a great new intro. I hope everyone likes it. All right,
Yeah, I was
time for the
testing that.
show.
It's actually really awesome.
Well, you know, the old one was getting tired, beat up, and also we need to remind people we've been around for 16 years. At least I have, anyway. You've only been around for about 5 or 6 years now. So at any rate, we've got all kinds of great stuff. There's some minor formatting changes coming to this show, and if you're listening, there's a show every week now, whether it's going to be an interview with me and interviewing somebody from the WordPress community or developers out there, or if I don't have a developer interview, I'll just be doing a solo show. So every single Monday at about 12 to 12:30, we have a show. When I do it by myself, it's usually around 12. All right. With all of that being said, I think...
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
Well, welcome to
You just won't get
episode
tired of
six-
that one, will you?
No, it's gonna get a giggle out of me every time. Because every time I hear it, I picture like the old cartoon sheep hook just reaching out and yoinking you off the stage. I love it. So it's episode 647. And we have plugins for email and IP guardians with dev flags and Dino games. Lots of awesome stuff. Our episode today is called Plugin Magic. Transform your WordPress site with WP Plugins A to Z. You know, our titles are getting longer and longer.
You know, I'm working on it.
So we've got a couple of great in-depth plugins for you, some recent news in both the WordPress world and the tech world in general, and some awesome WordPress tips. You got more than one tip now because Dad's bringing a tip of his own every week. And if you remind, all right, I wanted to point out that spring is here, which is awesome. The biggest problem I have with spring is the mini Death Stars that are floating through the sky now. That's better known as pollen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the only one who's suffering though. So for everyone out there, I feel for you. It sucks, but We'll get through it. Enjoy the sunshine as it comes. Longer days, warmer experiences. Soon we'll be able to go swimming too. Be great. Couple reminders before we start the show today. The show starts at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time every other week on Monday. Although, as John said, there is going to be his show on the intervening Mondays. So do I have to change this, do you think?
Yes, you
Just
do.
have it as every Monday?
You guys say
Okay.
there's a show every Monday.
Yeah. Throwing all kinds of new information at me today. I like the intro. It's cool. So every week on Monday, you can join in for the pre-stream about 12:15-ish, and you can find the show notes on the homepage at WPPluginsAtoZ.com. And this is a value for value show, so help us get some love by hitting some like buttons, sharing an episode or two, and you can, listen to it really loudly, and someone else will hear it, love it, and they'll listen to it too. It's a great way to pass it on. Stick around till the end of this show, and you'll have a chance to hear some good questions. If you're interested, you can get your own questions in there to ask John, see if you can stump them, or just get a really good answer. Our artist today is Firefly.
Firefly's still the artist right now.
Firefly. Okay. Getting better at people, although not entirely better at people. I noticed that the person that's third in is looking kind of funky.
Yeah, it's missing its head.
Its head got one leg, and it looks like it's got like another person growing out of it sideways.
Something like that. AI, man, AI. I just thought it looked cool, so I didn't pay that close attention to the details like you just did.
Well, I do like it. It's kind of like a brain, but not.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Kind of fit with today's title.
Definitely. And if anybody out there feels so inclined, you can send us in your art, and we would be more than happy to throw up people art instead of just AI art.
Yeah, absolutely. Sooner or later, I will finish the art generator.
So, on to the news.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! And now the news with Amber.
First thing we have today is a WordPress vulnerability report. So this one is from Solid
WP.
Thank you. For some reason, my brain was saying Solid IP, and I knew that wasn't right. Solid WP. There's a lot of plugin issues going on for this report. There's 542 vulnerabilities as a whole, and 520 of these are plugins. But that also means that there are 22 themes with issues going on right now.
Yep.
So far, they've managed to patch up 263 plugins, and they've managed to patch up 4 themes. So be aware. There's a lot of things in here that are likely things that you or your clients use. So make sure you give the list a view.
Yep.
Next one we have is the vulnerability report from PatchStack. So these guys always have the latest information. If you want to have a more up-to-date understanding of what's going on, what has issues, what needs to be fixed, and everything like that, you want to go to these guys. You can check out plugins and themes and basically whatever you need to check out on here. As soon as you figure out how to navigate through it, it'll become your best friend. I know it's become one of my best friends. Next up, I have WordPress 6.8 release candidate 3. So I believe the 3rd iteration is the last iteration before they go live with it.
Usually it's expected to go live on April 15th, which is tax day in the States. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Expected to go live tomorrow, so be aware, folks.
Yeah.
I would give it a week or two before you update it. Wait till everybody else breaks it. And see how long it takes them to patch it, because we are in that mode right now.
Well, there's something else too. Like if you click on the next one, what's new for developers, this is actually very good to go through, because on this, we learned that this one major update is supposed to be the only update for the whole year. Now, that seems like a really awesome thing, except I'm wondering how much they're going to try to cram into this, which means how long is it going to take them to fix all the bugs after they break everything, because of how much they're trying to cram in.
That's been the concern the whole time around this event, where they've decided this will be the only update this year. And the fact that they're only going to put out one update next year, one major update, they're saying they're going to do bug patches and everything else, but
Yeah.
what's going to happen?
Now,
We don't know.
I really hope that they did just focus on like the major things, because the idea of only having one major update and then a whole bunch of point updates throughout the rest of the year, that sounds fantastic to me. That'll give the plugins time to catch up. It'll give everyone else time to catch up, fix the bugs for real, not just put their old patch on and hope it holds. I hope it does work out for the best and that they don't try to put in too much.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out in short order what's going to happen here.
Yes, we will. Next thing I have is Google officially rolls out links and AI overviews to its own research or to its own search results. So when you are doing a search, like I brought this up in our last show that we were noticing this, and now it's actually official. The AI overview is supposed to link to its own search results rather than to sites and information, because apparently, according to Google, who made a statement, this is supposed to make it easier for researchers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with this. I don't like it. And just so everyone is aware, I have heard that Microsoft Bing is now doing the same thing. I have not been able to verify that, but I've seen it written down a few places and I've seen a few reports on it. So everyone is going to start doing this. It's going to affect our SEO for a while until people start ignoring the AI and start scrolling through the actual results. So.
Yep.
Oh, Hemdy, and when are the show notes posted? Generally they're posted within the first, after the show or the very next morning. So it's within the 24-hour span.
Well, they're always posted within 24 hours. But the problem we've got also is the site is in the process of being changed over to make it easier to find them all, because if you don't catch it on the front page or you go to the archive, it's not always easy to find it there. But we are correcting some issues with the site little by little. It's just that we have to make money first before we can do the stuff that's free, basically. So at any rate, it is there, and all the show notes are there regularly. You know, just real briefly, you can go in and go look at the podcast vaults, because they're all here. And now, of course, because I've got a show coming every Monday, this show is getting pushed back faster than it used to be, because we've got them slightly in a wrong formatting. But it's coming along, just so you know.
We'll figure out the glitches later.
Yep.
So next thing I have on here is the things users would appreciate in mobile apps. Now, I know that the title says apps, but it's actually an article talking about building websites. I don't know why everything is getting called apps now. It's driving me insane.
Because they started doing that with computer programs. You don't have computer programs anymore. You have computer apps. Like,
and
okay.
You don't visit websites on your computer, on your phone anymore. You check out the app for that site.
That's right.
But it's not an app. It's actually just the site in mobile version.
Yes.
I want to rip my hair out with all this change in lingo, but I'll catch up to it. I'll get it.
We'll catch up to the millennials and the Zoomers.
No, we won't, because as soon as we finally figure out what they're talking about, they'll change it all again.
That's true. Actually, what will happen is the alpha generation will come along and really screw them up.
So yeah, this is actually a pretty good article. I read through it, and it's interesting mostly because what they talk about is things that, it seems like you should have thought about that already, but it's a complete like, oh my goodness, kind of moment where it's like, I should have thought about that, but I just didn't think about it before it was pointed out to me. So some good ideas worth doing a skim through.
Yep.
And the last thing I have for today is 22 breakthrough technologies. So this is actually really cool. It's a list of what team experts foresee in the future in the form of 22 breakthrough technologies. Now, in order to get it, you do have to sign up, give them your information, and they'll email you a link. But it's a
nice way to get people onto their email list.
It is. It worked for me. I found it really interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if so it's definitely worth going and checking out. Some of it is right over my head, honestly.
I find when it's over my head, I read it through once, come back and read it a few days later, and after a week or two of rereading it several times, it suddenly sinks in.
Yeah, well, if you look at the technologies addressed, it's AI agents, mis and disinformation, AI-based medical diagnosis. That's the one that's kind of over my head. I understand the AI aspect. I don't understand everything they're talking about. Next gen cyber warfare, that one I found very interesting. And there's a few other things, a couple of which also go over my head the same way the medical information does.
Well, it sounds like an interesting report. I may have to sign up for it myself.
It is. So I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. It's pretty cool.
All right. All right. It's Rogue's Corner News. I should turn up the speaker just for him. Okay, so what have I got this week? It's kind of a light week for me in the news. I mean, I've been doing a lot of news and other things, and I forgot to put it into these show notes. I was putting them elsewhere. And also I was busy focused on plugins and other things last week. So all I've got this week is, of course, the main mention. We have some new unique plugins available from WPPluginsAtoZ.com. And you can find those over at our plugins available. There's 4 plugins available from us right now. We have a bulk delete for Gravity Forms entries. The WPPluginsAtoZ email and IP Guardian we'll be talking about shortly. Enhanced tools for Gravity Forms, and a WPPluginsAtoZ code snippets plugin. So go check them out, folks. They're all free. A couple of them you got to sign up for the email list to get, though. News, what have I got this week? Here it is. This is a nice blog post from Joost de Valk, and we've been talking about this with Amber a few times, in that we have a trend of retro, and he wrote an article, Build Websites Like It's 2025. And win, or 2005 and win in 2025. Part of his article is, he says the web has come full circle. Part of his article is about the way sites are built now with content within div tag, within a div tag, within a div tag to ad infinitum. So, and stop doing that as much, but simplifying websites and simplifying and creating, going back to some retro kind of designs, making your site accessible to bots and easy to reach without complex JavaScript having to be fired off for everything to occur. Making sure it's easy to parse, good, clear, valid HTML, not div soup, and easy to understand, simple language, good structure, solid readability. So it's a really good article. And it does talk about how the web industry is reverting back to the early 2000s in many, many ways. They're doing, what I've termed modern retro. So with the retro look with a modern feel. So go check it out. It's a great article. Another one, I caught this late, but it's a really great April Fool's gag. WordPress 7.0 was leaked, and the block editor is being replaced with the round editor. So I thought it was a great April Fool's gag. I was sad that I missed it. I'm sad that I missed it a couple of days later. I thought, seriously? And they nailed me. Yeah. So anyway, that's really all I've got. Aside from tip of the day here is, of course, 2 of them. One, go check out influencewp.com for great deals on everything. And if you're just a consumer, it's really cheap to become a consumer and get all those deals. And if you're a developer, become a partner and get in on everything else and showcase your stuff. Another one here is an alternate plugin repo that pulls plugins from GitHub. It's a really great repo. It's just beginning. He's just starting to get plugins listed on here. He's only got a few right now, but it's a really cool plugin. So go check out the repo.org. That's really all I have. And it seems we have a whole pile of extra articles in here today. So go go check all of those ones out, folks. It can be very entertaining. Some of it's useful stuff, design information, talking about Automatic and their layoffs recently, some secret lies of generative AI models. Actually, there's been somebody up on Twitter who's been getting all the different AI models to draw cards and other things about themselves.
Oh, cool.
It's been really fascinating stuff. Somebody's been, it's like, and having the AI models describe themselves and then create an image of themselves from their description of themselves. So far, Grok has got the best, what's the word I'm looking for? Sense of,
Self-portrait?
he's got not self-portrait, but self-respect. That's not the quite word, but
Self-awareness?
Self-awareness. Grok seems to have the most self-awareness of versus the others.
I think that's why they have to keep giving him a lobotomy.
Yeah, well, it could very well be. But anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting stuff. Enough of that. It is time for us to wander on down into our plugins. All right. What have I got for you this week? Well, the first one, I have two of them. These go hand in hand. They are designed for your development site. The first one here I found from Poodle Plugins. And this guy here's got 4 great plugins. He needs a little love, folks. He's got these great plugins. Some of them have been around for a little more than a year, and there's still less than 10 installs. So go give him some love for these. He's got a stock message for WooCommerce, a WP custom author URL, a WooCommerce custom empty price button, and the WP dev flag, which is the one we're going to be talking about today. This one here, very useful for your dev sites, whether it's a local dev site or it's up on a server, whatever. If it's a dev site, this is a very, especially if it's in a subdomain, which almost all our dev sites are in a subdomain up on the server. And it's very easy at times when you're working in your dev site and have your live site open, checking different things, to suddenly find yourself in the wrong site making a change. It happens.
That's always terrifying when it happens.
It happens to the best of us, no matter how many times we tell ourselves not to make that mistake. You get working, you get in the groove, you're clicking along, you've got your 25 window tabs open doing multiple things. You click a tab because it has the right icon because you can't see the words anymore, and boom, you're on the wrong site. This one here, what it does for you is it sticks a flag on your dev site. That is both in the back end and on the front end. On the front end, it sticks a little development tag, a development site flag. You can change the color of that flag to something that sticks out. I make sure all mine are red, not blue, because blue doesn't catch enough attention. It also tells you what environment you're in when you're setting up for the tag, and then whether or not to apply this dev flag to this particular environment. It also allows you, as I said, you can change the position of the tag that is in the back end and the front end. In the back end, it's in the top admin bar. You can either stick it to the right or the left. In the front end, it can stick it to the top, middle, or the bottom of the screen. So it's always useful. And of course, you can change the color and the text color, and you can customize your message. The other nice feature it has is that you can then, on your development site, you can set up the tag to link to your live site. So if you're in your development site, now you got to go to your live site, just click the link and boom, you're right in there into your live site. So this is a really fantastic plugin. I found it really quite useful. I've started implementing it on all our dev sites for all the different things we do so that we can stop making that mistake and keep everything in order. Such a great plugin. Go check it out. This one here, created by Poodle Plugins, and I give it a 5 dragon rating. All right.
That is such a cool plugin.
It is such a cool plugin. It's a great plugin, and I found it useful. Now, this goes hand in hand with the one that I have about 95% complete now. It's ready for usage for folks. This is from WP Pro A-Z. It is called WP Pro A-Z Email and IP Guardian. And this, again, is for your dev site. And what it does for you is it allows you to go into your dev site and you can turn on, and it will disable the WP mail function and the PHP mail function from your dev site. So your dev site will not be able to send any emails out. And this is a really good thing, especially if you're working on a dev site where you have an e-commerce store or other things happening where there may still be a little bit of client data, for other things, or anything that causes it to send emails, or even testing forms. You can test the forms without having it send out a whole bunch of test forms to a email box you don't want to bother checking anyway. So I found it really useful. It took a while to get this thing to it would actually disable both. Initially, it would disable WP Mail, but not the PHP function. So because some plugins will loop around WP Mail and use the PHP function direct. So really great. You can turn it on and off. It also puts a big red flag in your back end that tells you the email function is turned off on this site so that you are aware of the situation. The other function it has on it now is it also has an IP blocking function. And what that's for is it allows you with your dev site, especially if you do like we do, we put them up on a live server, you want to block every bit of traffic comes to that site except from specific IP addresses. This allows you to do that. The plugin, once it's initially installed, when you initially go to activate the plugin, it grabs your IP address immediately and inserts it into the site. So if you're using a VPN and you come in later with a different IP, you might be locked out of your dev site. Keep that one in mind. At any rate, it also allows you to add as many IP addresses as you want to the list, and it will work with IP ranges. So you can put in an IP range if you've got a range of IPs for someone's network that you need to open up for their entire network. On the whole, it's really nice. And again, it puts up a flag to warn you that the IP blocking is on this site. So go check that one out. It's the WP Pro A-Z email and IP Guardian plugin. And it's available for free off of our website. And of course, because I wrote it, it gets a 5-dragon rating.
That's a good rule.
Hey, you know, I'm going to review my own plugin. I'm going to, give it the best rating possible. All right.
I like that sound. So, this is where I give you my tip of the day. If you have a tip you'd like to send in, I'd love to hear yours and start replacing my tips with some tips from people out there. If you need an idea, what did you figure out by breaking something? What did you need to learn in order to help somebody else who broke something? Send these tidbits into me and I will put them here. So my tip to you today is when you feel like something is just not going right and you feel absolutely certain that whatever you're currently working on is going to just totally fail and you just rather throw in the towel, really, that's just likely you getting over a massive hurdle in capabilities, skill development, and overall professional level of awesome. I mean, sure, you feel like a steamroller just went over you, and you might feel pretty certain that some under-the-bed monster coughed you up as a furball this morning. But as long as you keep pushing through it, you'll make it to the other side. And once you're there, you will have a chance to look at what you just did after the required 14-hour crash, of course. And I'm fairly certain you're going to go, oh my goodness, I did that. That looks so cool. I love it. That is so awesome. And that is why pushing through all of the ick factor, being some under the bed creatures coughed up furball, is always worth it. Just keep going. You'll get to the other side and have an awesome experience at the end of it. Now, also remember to shower and crash so you can start all over again tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And dragon rating time.
Oh, yes. We got lost.
Just a quick note, Henvian, you seem to break lots of things and never learn. I doubt that. You've probably learned so much from breaking things. Next time you break something, send me in the story. We'll see if we can create a tip out of it and throw it up here, if you're up for it.
Absolutely.
So the plugin I brought today is called Dino Game. Embed Google Chrome dinosaur game into your website. So every once in a while, I go searching for games. Because when I first started on this, I was surprised to find that there were game plugins, and there were actually quite a few when I first started this a few years back.
Yep.
There's not really anymore. Like
No.
the one that I keep looking for rebuilt is a Snake game. I had Snake on my sandbox for ages, and every time I was stuck waiting for something and kind of getting bored, I just go to my sandbox and play Snake. It was great. We don't have that anymore, unfortunately. Now, the Dino game, for some unfathomable reason, is extraordinarily popular with kids. My daughters, both of them, in their late teens now still play this. I know they still play it because it has the most irritating sound every time the dinosaur jumps. All it is you make the dinosaur jump over things and duck under things. That's it. That's all this is. But they will play it for hours with that really, really irritating sound. Now, the thing that's really cool about this particular plugin, you can make it silent. It's great. I think every single dinosaur game like this should just be made silent. No more of that noise. So to get to the more technical aspect of this stuff, there's no like proper plugin dashboard or anything. You plug and play it basically. And what you do is you have to go into like the more details of the plugin itself, or you can go into the plugin page, your choice. You can choose 2 short codes. One of them is just to throw the dinosaur game in there and it still has the noise, or you can throw in the longer short code that tells it to be silent, which is great. That is the one I highly recommend. There's also another aspect. In the longer shortcode, you can actually make the dinosaur run faster or run slower. So say you're developing a site where there's going to be younger kids who go onto it. This will not only keep the younger kids occupied, but you can slow it down so that the younger kid doesn't get frustrated, but can still practice their hand-eye coordination with this oddly popular game. So it's actually pretty cool. I like the fact that they were able to create the short code where you can speed or slow it down, make it quiet, allow it noise, and it's being well kept up to date, which I really appreciate. It works with my current version. I tested it out in Gutenberg, Elementor, and Classic Editor, and it works beautifully. You just throw the short code into regular text area, and it's perfectly fine. Plays really well with others, and it's extraordinarily lightweight. So definitely awesome. I highly recommend you check this out, especially if you're feeling a little bit bored. And it's totally free. So I give this a 5 dragon rating.
Yay! And while you were doing that, I went and found the plugin for Snake. It was hiding over on GitHub. I just forked the repo. It hasn't been touched in 12 years, so it's going to need to be updated.
But yeah, Snake is awesome.
Yes, it hasn't been touched in 12 years, and it's only ever had version 1. So they created it, they released it, and they probably got a job coding somewhere, and now they're working in the bowels of Microsoft or somewhere else. So,
well,
at
it
any
was
rate,
still working like 3 years ago.
Well, yeah, they might still be working 3 years ago, but it may not be working now. I'll find out. I'll fork it. I forked it, so I'm gonna see where it goes.
Excellent.
That's the joys of open source code. If you get lucky, you can find it, especially if it's located on GitHub. You just fork it off, and then you can improve upon it. Which is why I did the zombie game, which is now out. Well, not out. You can go play the zombie game over on my practice website. But yeah. Well, yeah, games. There used to be a ton of games. They were written by all the people who were just starting into coding when WordPress first came out, because games are fun to write and they teach you a lot about coding to write a game. So that's why there were so many released for a long time. And then, of course, as the people became more experienced, got jobs, moved on in life, their code just sort of faded away. And they had to take them out of the WordPress repository because nobody's updating them and they can't have code there that's problematic. But some of this code still exists over on GitHub, and you can fork it and run.
We should just start collecting all of the games.
I have a collection of things all over the place. My GitHub repo is getting huge of things that I'm collecting. I may never get around to updating, but what the hell? I've got them.
It's the idea that counts.
What's that?
It's the idea that counts. It keeps you going.
Yeah, it's the idea that counts. It's all there. It's all there. All right. So we still don't have. I don't think I found the jingle yet for the
donations.
For the the affiliates. It says it was affiliate jingle. You said affiliate jingle in the notes. Is it the same as donation
no,
jingle?
because we don't have an affiliates jingle unless did you have one before?
No, we put something in here that said we needed one. I haven't found one yet. So, okay. Well, let's go with the donations.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A-Z.
And this will cover everything. Don't worry, folks. All of that side chatter will just be cleaned up and edit and post.
Well, I had to talk about the donations anyway, because producership credits are a thing, and they do exist, and we do actually offer them. And we offer them to people who donate through time, talent, or treasure. You can choose any of them, doesn't have to be all three. And you can use these credits to boost up your resume, throw them on your LinkedIn file, and so on and so forth. And even if you aren't really interested in the producership credit, you can still use us as your own stepping ladder in the world of the internet. So you can get yourself an interview so you're more noticed. Use us to make an announcement for you, like say you're going up on the WordPress stage. Use us to tell the world about it. Let the world know that you have something to say or a company worth checking out. Let us know. We'll throw it out here for you. You can have a look through our site, WPPluginsAtoZ.com, and check out the time, talent, and treasure pages to see if you feel like donating any of those. And as for affiliates, we've got...
First one up is Termageddon. And Termageddon is a great one for everyone who's not aware yet. You need to crawl out from under your rock. The privacy policies are becoming a serious thing out there on the internet, with countries, states, and provinces all enacting their own laws, and keeping up with what you need to cover, depending on where you service your clients at across the world, can be a nightmare. Termageddon solves that problem for you. They've got privacy policies. By the time you go through and answer all the questions, everything that's needed in it, they create a privacy policy that is tailored to your website, your business, and everything you need, that is kept up to date with the laws as they change all over the place. And the annual fee is within reason. It's $119 a year for it, so it's really quite nice. So go check it out. If you use the link in our show notes, we get a buck or two, not very much, but hey, it is a buck or two for you to get the same price. Not any higher, not any lower, and that's the way it works. So go check it out.
And then we have Rank Math, which is a fantastic company to work with on your sites for SEO. Free version gives you everything you need to get started and to get your SEO up to a place where you will actually start getting noticed. The premium version, it's like getting VIP treatment. So definitely worth going and checking this out, and follow our link. Same reasons. And then BunnyNet.
And Bunny.net. Bunny.net is a CDN network, and it's a fantastic CDN network for you. And it's very affordable, very fast. I found it very nice. We have a client that uses gigabytes of data a month because of videos, and their price is very, very low. It's like, under $10 a month to manage your stuff. And it delivers it from all over the globe. Plus, they have all kind of added features and bonuses that come even with just a regular account. They do have extra stuff, but, it depends on whether you need that. So go check it out, bunny.net.
Then we've got our miscellaneous announcements section here. We currently just have the next 5 WordCamps listed out for you. And then we have the link to the centralwordcamp.org. We also have a link to where you can go and check out WordPress meetup for WordPress. There's no WordPress meetups on the island anymore, but if you are interested in finding one near you, that you can probably find one that's at least within decent distance from you. If you want to reach out to us, we have a brick and mortar address as well as our internet addresses. So you can reach us through brick and mortar or email. And the plugins we covered today were?
I covered up the WP Dev Flag by Poodle Plugins, and a fantastic plugin to help you distinguish between your local and your dev site, between your local dev site and your live site. And you can personalize it for color positioning, add a link onto the badge, take you to the live site. Really great plugin. I gave it a 5 dragon rating. And I covered up the WP Pro A-Z email and IP Guardian, which disables all outgoing emails with a single checkbox. And you can also use it to restrict site access to allowed IPs or IP ranges. No need to edit the core files or the WP config or the htaccess file anymore with this plugin. It just makes it nice and easy on your backend. So go check it out. And again, a 5 dragon rating for that one.
And I covered Dino Game, embed Google Chrome dinosaur game into your website by Tamed ul Karim. Hopefully I didn't murder his name too badly. Mm-hmm. And it's a great, simple game for adults and kids alike. Lightweight, plays well with others, and you can mute it. That is definitely one of the massive selling factors of this. Probably every parent whose kids have played this game a lot understand.
All right. Well,
it's question and answer time with John and Amber.
So if anyone out there has any questions they'd like to have asked here on the show, send them in to me at amber@wppro.ca, and we might be able to stump my dad, or you can just get a really good answer from John, because he is actually got a lot of information up in that noggin of his.
Surprisingly.
Okay, so my first question for you is, what is the best way to figure out what problems out there need solving so that you can be the one who does the problem solving for people? Like, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Because that is how you make your best income, is solving problems.
Yes.
You will never make more money than finding out a problem and solving it. It's always hard to figure out what problems to solve. The way I've done it most of my life is it's always been a problem that I've had. And then I look and see, well, is anyone else having this problem? Well, of course they are. It's like looking, if you're having an issue on a website, if you go toss in your issue into Google, somebody else out there has already answered the question, sometimes dozens of times. So if you have a problem, other people have it. The biggest thing to figure out is it a big enough problem to solve to where you can make an income off of it? And that's where the tough part comes in. So you just got to kind of analyze what it is. Or maybe you have an interest in a particular industry and you heard somebody mention, oh, I can't even think of a specific problem, but they say, oh, such and such is being a problem. And say, well, is that a problem that's throughout the industry? And you might hear, well, yeah, it is. Well, does anyone do anything about it? No. Well, maybe you know how to do something about it. So you do something about it, and then you sell that solution to people. Because that's how you make a really good income, is finding a problem and then solving it. Or find a problem that people are already solving, but they're not solving effectively. And, maybe you have a better, faster solution to what's being done. One of the biggest interesting things I've seen and heard is you don't have to be the first one to enter the race. You just have to enter the race to win. That's in particularly true in the tech world. We've seen a lot of late bloomers in the tech industry. Somebody enters a particular field which is already dominated, and the next thing you know, Facebook is number one and Friendster no longer exists. It depends on how well you solve the problem compared to how someone else is solving the problem, or how good your marketing is. So
makes sense. Okay. So really it just comes down to looking to see what issues are popping up around you, and then look to see if those issues are bigger and wider, and then try to solve them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. All right. My next question is, what is the most interesting problem you've ever solved for someone?
I can't really talk about it at the moment because we're creating a plugin around it. We're creating a whole new plugin to solve this problem, and I don't want to let the cat out of the bag until we have at least an alpha version plugin, which the alpha version's due out in September. That's the most interesting one.
Okay.
Less interesting, and one I've solved. It's partly my own problem, which is the plugin I talked about today. The block the IP address and the mail flag, because those have been problems that I've been working on for a long time, and there was never a easy to use plugin for it. And I always had to go in and edit the WP config file to block email. I had to go edit the htaccess file to block IPs. And it's like, there's got to be a better way. I need something that's like, click, 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 and I don't have to go in and mess with files. So that's an interesting problem that I've solved for someone. Other people will find it useful.
I know I sure will.
I'm trying to think of some of the others I've done over time. I've
How
got
about entertaining?
entertaining. I don't have an
Yeah, like,
entertaining one right now off the top of
no,
my head. I can never remember
bad.
unless the problems are actively being worked on. I can never remember what they are because as soon as I've solved them and moved on, I flush it from my head.
Only to retrieve it when you come across a similar issue.
Yeah, gotta get the snake out and fetch it back up.
All right. Well, that is my first two questions. The next two questions I'll ask after the closing.
All right. Well, this is for those listening on the downloads. Don't forget, if you want to hear the next two questions, which are oftentimes as good or better than the first two questions, and sometimes we ramble on for a few minutes afterwards, come on over to the YouTube, watch the YouTube. Just skip all the way to the end of the show since you've already listened to it on the downloads. And, well, we'll be right back after our girl takes us out.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at WPPluginsAtoZ.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A-Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to WPPluginsAtoZ.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using WPPluginsAtoZ.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsAtoZ. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
Alrighty then, now we're back.
So my next question for you is, what excuse me, what was the hardest mountain in your career that you had to overcome? Like, what was the hardest thing you came across that you really had to work hard to push through?
Think of any specific. I with code since I was a teenager.
What about the peopling
Oh, the peopling is still a
or the
problem.
marketing?
The people in marketing is still a problem. Still have troubles with that one.
But how have you overcome it?
By pushing myself out there. Truth be known, I'm an introvert, man. I want to just hide from people. I want people to just see the value of what I offer and then throw money at me. But that's not the way it works. You've got to educate them on the value of what you have. Then they might toss you a few coins at first, and they really see the value, and they'll toss you a few more coins. And you really got to work to get them to throw money at you. So yeah, I guess the marketing has probably been the hardest thing, is getting the marketing right. And the marketing is never, I've got a marketing person, and we got to work with that to get it going. It's like I have great ideas, but I have troubles implementing them. So that's the other big problem, is bringing in the right people, realizing that you cannot do it all by yourself. You got to bring in other people. Hard part there is you got to make money to bring in other people. If you don't make money, you can't bring in other people, unless of course you can get some people to join you in the hopes that it's going to be successful.
And what was the easiest obstacle in your path? Why do you think it was so easy? Like the easiest thing to overcome in order to get to where you are now.
The coding.
Things that were easy for you versus for other people.
Well, I guess the coding. The only hard part about the coding for me was typing. But
Uh-huh.
understanding the code, it's like I can understand code and I can figure out how to make things work, and I can analyze a problem and often come to a solution that other people don't see. Because I look at it in a different light. Is basically what happens. I'll look at it in a different light. So I'll see the problem and be able to see an answer where other people can't. I mean, in my entire 26 years of doing this now, I have only been first to the post with an answer to a problem. And it was one of my most read articles I ever wrote.
Kind of like having a painting when you're working on a painting, when you don't know, like you can tell something looks off, but you just don't know what looks off.
Mm-hmm.
Just take it, turn it upside down, take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you mean when you look at it from a different light?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You see the problem differently. The other is being able to make connections where connections don't obviously exist. It's like one of the things I discovered is like when I am having a problem and people are talking about the problems, probably 7 out of 10 times, I'll find my answer from someone who's had a completely different problem, but the solution was the same. And you wouldn't,
That makes sense.
you wouldn't think to look at this other problem because, oh, that's not my problem. But the coding solution was the same answer, even though it was a different problem. It's being able to look at the problems from a different light. Is
Cool.
basically what it boils down to. So yeah, I do that very well. Which is why I'm very good at the technical aspects of everything. I guess the other mountain is the design work. I mean, I can make design, but it takes me 10 times as long as someone else who has an artistic brain. I don't have an artistic brain. I have a.
So you have one of those logical brains.
I have an analytical brain. It's ones and zeros. That's why, now that I have AI to help me do all my typing for me, I'm starting to create things that I've been wanting to create for years. Because I just couldn't do the typing, because once I start getting into it and I lose track of the code, once you get beyond a couple of hundred lines of code, it gets hard to keep track of where you're at. So. And then if you make
sorry.
Go ahead, Hemdian.
Hemdian just updated what he keeps not learning to do is one change at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So he logged into one of his sites and saw his cache plugin was inactive, so he activated it. Saw a few plugins had new versions, so he updated them. Saw a report security issue, so clicked fix. Then discovered that an issue where none of the links work and don't know what broke because did multiple changes in one go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That one there is a lesson I learned the hard way a couple, 3 times. It seemed I had to bash my head a few times before I went, okay, when I update plugins, there are certain ones that I do know, very seldom have problems, and I'll just go click, click, click. But most of the time it's click, go test everything, click, go test everything, click, go test everything, especially if it's a really critical website. If it's a critical website, one at a time, man, do not let the auto update function work for you. But yeah, I've been there, done that.
Me too.
So that's always.
I think we've all been there.
It's always so fun. That's why it's like people. It's one of the reasons why I hate auto updates on my computer for programs. Because in the past I've had a couple of things auto update themselves. Some things don't work. You go, oh shit, what broke it? You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what broke it.
Yeah, being able to have control over the updates is very nice. Although unfortunately, my computer gets updates when I'm not on it.
Yes. Yeah, I regularly go in and tell Microsoft it can't update my computer for the max of, I think it's 5 weeks. And then sometimes, I don't know why, but sometimes you can actually push it out a few more weeks after that. So, at any rate, that's really all I've got. Anything else, folks?
Not that I can think of, but Hemdian, thanks for sharing.
Thanks,
I always
Ambien.
love when you add to the show.
Always good when you add to the show. For all the other folks out there, feel free to add to the show anytime you want, man. We're always looking for other stuff, and we like to keep this show going as much as we can, and make it as relevant as possible. The big thing is if you have relevant ideas for us, send them in. Just go to the website, go to our contact page, and tell us what you think should be more relevant for the show. All right. Anything
And
else?
if you have really random ideas, throw those in too. And if we like them, we might take them anyway.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Whole point of the open source world, man. Just take it and run. All right. I think that covers us. I'm going to play a little music to carry us on out. Thanks, everyone, for showing up. We greatly appreciate it.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
All righty, folks. That's all we got now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Oh my god, that is amazing!
Oh no. Obviously, we just lost the satellite